La Luna el Cacciatore. Hunter's Moon, eh? That's Predator versus Aliens, and Aliens versus Predator, that's right. New Swavenland, or whatever. New Swavenland. What's going on there, I wonder? Chilly out here tonight, I know that much. But it's nice. It's crisp. I'd rather be sat here than some other places I know. Smoking a cigarette, got a cup of tea, can't be bad. It's a sign of a free man, that is. Smoking a cigarette and a cup of tea. Yeah, that's right. The universe is unconditional. Everything is judged through the essence of balance, isn't it, really? You look at the thing itself. You have what's in front of you, the illusion. But what's behind the illusion? Well, that's a thought process. That's how we break down the ones and zeros in the matrix, isn't it? I mean, realistically, what we're looking at the camera is ones and zeros on a matrix screen. But we break that down through our interpretation of what we class as reality. Be it the illusion, or be it the thought of understanding something. If I turn around and you've got your eyes shut and I turn around and say the moon in the sky, chances are you'll probably think of something like that, or probably a half moon, you know. But it's a thought, it's a picture in your head. Everything is just an image, and all those images are accessible if you enable yourself to be able to key into the biospiritual interface that you are. And how do we do that? We do that through physical preparation, mental preparation, and obviously spiritual preparation. You know, I suppose when it comes down to the old cosmic chess match and all that sort of business, L.A. Marzulli, bless his heart, it's true, it is a spiritual war, and that spirit resides in each of us. We all hold an element of spirit. You know, we're born into a reality, enslavement, third dimensional enslavement. Here I am. I'm on Earth. I'm not on the moon. I can see the moon. Whether it's there or not, I don't know. If I close my eyes, it's still there. If I open my eyes, I have the illusion of what looks like the moon in front of me. It kind of looks like the Death Star as well. It looks like... it really does, actually. There's that crater to the left-hand side. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's not a crater, but it's like a dark patch. It looks like the circular element to where the beams come out, you know, with the Death Star. Oh, George Lucas, what are you like, eh? What are you like, mate? Good on you. But yeah, so there we go. We've got the moon. The moon's there. I agree with that. You agree with that, don't you? You know. It's there. It might not be when you watch this video, because it might be daytime. But the moon still exists. It still resides within the supposed universe that we entertain ourselves in. And of course, think about it. When we look at universe, it's an individual's perception of their own universe, because it comes down to their belief system, and that's how they break down the matrix, you know. What I mean by that is where they find themselves physically, dependent on what's around them. That's how they break down that matrix. But you know, you've got a pilot that flies an aircraft tonight. You know, what a night to fly. I mean, imagine being on a bearing, flying to a location, and you've got that big moon in the sky. I would love to be in a pilot's seat and experience that. That would be absolutely phenomenal. Believe me, I know a lot of pilots as well, and respect to them. Practically every single one I know is a good drinker as well. But that's by the by. We're getting off the point. It's focus. What do you focus in on? Do you focus in on negative external imposition, which, of course, when we come to the agreement and an understanding, then we can accept that there is negative external imposition within the universe, and it resides, and like we've talked about, black and white, yin and yang, good and evil, the two polarities collide. But again, it's finding that balance. So you've got to prioritise. Well, if I'm a pilot of an aircraft, 747, okay, I've got to concentrate on 1, navigational systems, 2, communications, 3, making sure that my 240, 50 passengers, whatever, are stable, they have oxygen at 35,000, 40,000 feet, and all is well. There's an aircraft coming in from right to left. Small aircraft, I think. So let's not freak out about that one. I'm just going to lower this, and it'll probably catch the aircraft going by. There we go. It may do, it may not, it may show up. It's passing from right now. There we go. Is that a flash? I see. Possibly not. It's pretty much below the moon now, and now gone left. So I don't think that's picked up. We'll just raise that up again. There we go. So going back to basics again, the very essence of the God essence, or call it universal essence. Let's go back. Let's call it universal essence. We've already described it as just energy. Okay, and that energy has 2 polarities, and between the 2 polarities is the essence of balance. Let's have a look. How do we put it? The universal element is going to see it from both sides, dark and light. Yeah, okay, both good and evil. And when we refer back to the teachings of the elders, you know, we talk, and when it comes down to teaching of the elders, it could be some bloke 2,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago giving us information through a book or manuscripts or whatever. Or it could be Arnold Schwarzenegger giving a bit of a speech and motivational video, you know, what he does. And he talks about, he says, yeah, break the rules, but don't break the law. If you break the law, it's just mafia rules, isn't it? Universal mafia rules. You break the rule, on a karmic effect, it's going to come back to you. Yeah, you know that. You've got to take responsibility. And so it comes down to the the individual entity utilizing their own awareness and taking responsibility for the actions they carry out. And it's the old spiral again. If those actions are somewhat negative, then you're going to repeat, and you'll find yourself back at that same point. Why is this fucking always happening to me? So you've got to break the spiral. You've got to change things about yourself. Now, human beings are dynamic in their nature. Yeah. But how do I put it? Was I born into reality to simply chase after a physical essence that's hardly even physical nowadays, called money? All that is a power over me. And of course I need a certain essence of money to be able to sustain and survive myself and keep myself within balance within the social environment, the social group and the social structure I find myself in at this moment in time. However, if I was in a jungle, living with a tribe, for instance, as long as I'm putting in something that is beneficial to the group, okay, be it hunting or bringing water from the river, you know, or whatever it may be, keeping it basic. Point being is, what I'm putting in, I'm getting something out. And like, for instance, you know, it goes back to the old adage, isn't it? You've got the males that go off and hunt, okay, they do their thing. It's the same thing in modern day society. But the point being is, it's controlled not through the friendship agenda, as it were, not through like natural just energy, where one being respects another being because, and is willing to work in conjunction with another being because they're working in conjunction, in harmony with, firstly, each other, secondly, with the environment they find themselves in. You know, desert, jungle, Arctic, on the surface of the moon, on Mars, in a spaceship, you know, or something underneath the water, for instance. Like, for instance, the movie, absolutely fantastic movie, James Cameron and the Abyss. And what's the old saying? You look into the abyss looks back at you, and absolutely fucking correct. Everything we do, everything we think, everything since we've been sentient, and we understand as an individual being, is assessed. And that goes back to the essence of the karmic effect. So to slow things down and to regain balance would be to slow oneself down, sit there and ascertain what's going on. If it starts raining now, not likely, but if it starts raining now, you know, I need to get in some cover, or have some cover over me. You know, ideally, maybe even just use an umbrella. You know, that's pretty simple. Keeps the rain off me. Clouds go by. End of the rain, I can put that umbrella down, shake it off, let it dry out, and I'm back to square one again, working in conjunction with what's going on around me. It's simplistic. It's going back to basics. Keep it simple, stupid. You know? And so there's the physical element to that, but there's also the mental element. Well, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. Yes. But you've got to live in the moment. And it's the moment that's key. And so within a moment, if 7 billion people can communicate at the same time, which we have the technology to do that nowadays, okay, that's the point. The point. The point is, mankind has got up to that point where technology has come together. It's a two-edged weapon. There's a natural element, of course there is, okay, clay and iron. But the technology could be seen as negative, it could also be seen as positive. It's two-edged. Everything within the universe works on two polarities. We have matter, we have antimatter. Yeah? We have our good side, we have our bad side. But we also have the essence of the referee within inside us all. And we're given knowledge from past that allows us to, if we combine all that knowledge together in simplistic terms, it takes us back to what? It takes us back to us finding a balance between mind, body and spirit. Evil does exist, but it resides within inside the individual. Yes, sometimes we are physically forced to carry out, for instance, something evil, pouring a cup of tea over the spider, poor spider that sat there. In some ways, if your intent is to do that, I'm going to pour this hot cup of tea over that spider. Well, your intent isn't necessarily working in harmony with the universal effect that's placed in front of you. And that intent is key, and it's the subconscious mind also working towards the conscious mind, which carries out the action. And it's, the old saying is, no, the fight is inside. And it is. The fight is inside. And it's the mind. And so, through communication, through understanding and acceptance, we can come to an understanding and a compromise. And it's absolutely achievable as long as the will is there, and it doesn't impinge on one person or the other, or one entity or the other. It's about making sure that everybody gets up to that certain point, and everybody from that moment comes into agreement, and then advice can be given on how to move forward. But first off, what's key is making sure that everybody is on par and on page as fairly as possible. And we come to an understanding, we make an agreement. We turn around and you say, well, look, okay, you know what I mean, just hear me out, you know, and then make a decision. Knock me off. If you don't like what I hear, fine. But ideally, everybody benefits. Everybody benefits. Be it seen as good or evil, the point being is everybody benefits, because as a collective we have come to an element of evolution through knowledge, pure knowledge. We've come to an evolution where that knowledge is fairly distributed to the 7 billion people that reside here on planet Earth, for instance. Now, if an entity like the Earth comes to a position where everything on the Earth is harmonistic at one point, there's a very good chance that something from an outside source, what we put out to the universe, comes back to us, may possibly come back to us as a group, the universal mind, as it were. So we've got 7 billion people on this planet, and then of course we've got every other reality that exists, which is infinite. But if you work in conjunction with the universal laws, yeah, then what you've got is a moment of clarity. And then it's about taking responsibility from that point. It's growing up, isn't it? Maturing. It's a shame, because it really is an amazing experience. I mean, there's a cloud layer just below that moon. It just looks, it's just fantastic. Wow, beautiful. Well, look, I'm going to leave it there. But I would like to think that this energy, call it the universal energy. You see, that's how you have the essence of unconditional love. If you put out a balanced vibration. That balanced vibration is going to come back to you. There is no vindictive God there, I don't think. There are vindictive gods. And of course, all those elements exist at the same time, but the real loving God holds unconditional love for everything created, including itself. So, just a thought from a Jigger's point of view, and, well, love to you all, and God bless you all. Peace out.